in wrestling history, there's been a lot of times where wrestlers probably wouldn't have made it or be with the company, etc., but they saved themselves by turning heel. And we, of course, are going to break down the top 5 of all time. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop daily wrestling content. I'm going to pop it up right over here. Is the WWE shop QR code. Make sure you click that and support your boys at the Triple Threat Wrestling Podcast and the WWE. You can buy all the merch like the Head of the Table t-shirt or the Levels Above t-shirt that I own, but my wife stole it from me. So make sure you click that QR code, buy all the merch. You support us and the WWE. MVP, we got to break this down because I think this is going to be a pretty good conversation. Wrestler saved by turning heel. Okay. I think I'm going to go first this week. If that's all right with you, I'm going to go first. Because I'm looking at your shirt and I can't help but go number 1, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. If everyone knows the history of Roman Reigns, he was shoved down our throat like things I can't say on here because we got to keep it PG-13. But he was shoved hard down our throats. And after a while, we decided we don't want that. And it really hurt his career because they really pushed him as a main event talent. No one cared. And they didn't want any part of it. And a fresh reset and a fresh pandemic helped save him. He comes back, attacks The Fiend and Braun Strowman, says he's taking the title, and the head of the table was born, the Tribal Chief, and it was history from there. It was a great character change, and now you see that people just are chanting, "We want Roman." They want him back. They love Roman. He's the best thing since sliced bread. He's number 1. Roman Reigns' career was saved by turning heel. Acknowledge a Tribal Chief, not Solo. You hear that, Solo? Roman.
Roman. Yeah. All right. My number 1 is in the GOAT conversation. I'm gonna go with John Cena.
Not that one.
Not that one. So he's fresh off of going the limit with Kurt Angle after sparking the Ruthless Aggression era. And John Cena is floundering. He's had a pay-per-view match with Jericho, and he's tag teaming with Edge and Rey Mysterio and Chris Benoit on SmackDowns. He's got the look, but the character is stale, and he's gonna be fired until there's a European tour. And at the back of the bus, wrestlers are just goofing off, and they break out into a freestyle battle. And John Cena actually shows out in that freestyle battle, and it gets the ears of one Stephanie McMahon, who says, "Hey, let's use this on TV." And what do you know? John Cena is born. He does a rapper gimmick and becomes the Doctor of Thugonomics and turns heel. And on the way to the ring, just insults his opponent with freestyle freeform. And yeah, without this, who knows how much longer Cena would have lasted in WWE. And we definitely wouldn't have gotten, Super Cena and the run we have, and this title belt right here. We never would have got introduced to the spinner belt. So going with John Cena.
And also because that was about 2003, right?
Yes, 2002, 2003.
If you remember when we were growing up in that time, like freestyling was like really big at that time too.
Yes.
So just him doing that, like if you just loved rapping, you might tune in just to see what he had to say about his opponent. Because at that time, that's when really it started, like roasting people and rap battles was like the thing. And like, me and you actually are great freestylers on letsbeef.com. We are champions of the past, but no plug for letsbeef.com. That was a long time ago. But yeah, that's a good pick. John Cena definitely elevated him to be one of the greatest of all time, just doing that little heel turn. So I'm gonna go number 2. I'm gonna go JBL.
Okay.
because JBL like was floundering. He was always good in the ring, but I mean, once Acolyte Protection Agency went away, and like they were the Ministry of Darkness APA and all that, it was JBL. Like he's good, whatever. He's part of the Smoking Guns before, I think, right? And he's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then he changes to this egotistical, rich oil field owner, and that was great for him. He was perfect for that role. Coming out in that long limousine, and he was a champion. He was world champion a couple times, and awesome feuds with Eddie Guerrero, and can't forget Rey Mysterio beating him in 10 seconds for the IC title at WrestleMania 25. But just his character was just, his retirement match for 15 seconds. Just, I don't know, all the feuds he had and that character. He even faced John Cena, and also like with Shawn Michaels. Remember when Shawn Michaels was broke and like he had to work for him, like that was great for Shawn Michaels. It got a lot of sympathy for him.
I feel like that didn't last long enough. They got rid of it too fast.
I think because right after that, like right when that storyline was done, they started pushing to Shawn versus Undertaker at Mania. And I think that's what they wanted. So they wrapped that story up pretty quick. And during that, he was facing people every week. Shawn Michaels was for JBL. One of them was Shelton Benjamin. And that's when you get the iconic Shelton Benjamin jumping off the rope into the super kick. And then the other one he faced was Vladimir Kozlov trying to defend JBL or whatever. But JBL was awesome, dude. So JBL definitely saved his career and added a lot of longevity to it by turning heel.
Okay. My next pick, I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan.
What you going to do, brother?
Yep. Red and yellow, eat your vitamin C or prayers. That only lasted so long. He was getting booed in WWE right before he left. Everything getting stale. You bring that character straight into WCW. It was feel good for a moment there, because Hogan, he left WWE, he came over to WCW. Now it's this hot thing, and is getting booed at the building because they're like, same old. This is the same shit. What do? You turn them heel and make them come up with black gear instead. And so there's Sting, Randy, Macho Man Savage, and Lex Luger versus the Outsiders. What a great way to turn Hogan heel and make him the third man. And
no pun intended to Alexis Rivera.
Government name. And the NWO was born along with a heel Hulk Hogan, not seen in many years since Thunder Lips, the Ultimate Male from Rocky 3.
Yeah,
and it definitely saved his career. Definitely held the title longer. Spray painted the belt and had a lot of was able to extend feuds with Sting and Ric Flair. Being giving a heel dynamic to it that he hasn't done, and definitely saved his career.
Yeah, and I mean, so they were testing the waters like a year before that when like he was facing the Dungeon of Doom and like the Dark Hogan came out with the black pants. Like I think they were testing the waters how people would react to such a thing. But with Hogan, it was cool to bring him into WCW. But the thing about him is he rarely ever put anybody over, like ever.
Yeah.
So it's like you came into WCW, but you burned through everybody, and then it's like, well, now what? Like you're just the champion. You came in, beat Vader.
His first
you beat
match was Ric Flair.
Yeah. You burned through everybody, and it's like, well, now no one. There's nothing to look forward to. Yeah. Have you seen the WrestleMania documentary where it's like Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and all that?
Yeah.
I feel like this would be a perfect time to insert The Rock sitting there. Like, so I made the decision to tell Hogan to basically turn heel. I told him to go out there, and that would be the perfect entrance for that meme.
That
But
meme.
yeah, but no, Hogan, obviously, that's probably the best pick on this whole list, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
but just as good, not just as good, but Bret Hart is my number 3. Because he was always that feel good guy giving his sunglasses to the kid, and
Yeah.
it just ran its course, you know. And now it's the Attitude Era, and everyone's edgy, and you got NWO throwing Rey Mysterio through trailers on the other network. You know, what are you gonna do? So he makes the New Hart Foundation with Brian Pillman and Jim Neidhart and British Bulldog and Owen Hart, and they were just heels. They came out and just ripped America. They proudly displayed their Canadian flag. Um, it was awesome, you know. And they actually, that was the only time in history that I liked a flag match, when Shawn, like DX, had the American flag and the New Heart Foundation had the Canadian flag, and Shawn like puts the Canadian flag in his nose, pretend like it's like stuck or whatever.
Yeah.
But they got great heat just from like
Yeah.
ripping the, you know, every crowd they went to. And then when they were in Canada, like, finally a great environment to be in. And
Mhm.
yeah, they were awesome. So I think that helped Bret Hart become a little bit more edgy in a way. Like, he had a better grasp on it, I guess. And it was great for him just being Canadian. So Bret Hart number 3.
If you take a map of the United States, it looks like a toilet.
Yeah, that was good.
My next pick, it's gonna be a stable, the New Day.
Bootios.
So you had Big E, powerhouse from NXT. You had Xavier Woods, wrestler from NXT, and you had Kofi Kingston, veteran of the ring with nothing to do, stale babyface character. You put them together, and you know, still nothing goes about it. Uh, Honestly, they're probably on their last legs until they came up with the New Day, and they were supposed to be preachers, and then they turned heel and saved their careers because they were going over real fast, and them turning heel, they were able to bring out their true personalities, and it turned into like a comedic type deal, and eventually turned faces, and Kofi became WWE champion, and Big E became WWE champion. We're still waiting on Xavier Woods for that to happen. He did win King of the Ring a
He
couple
got
years
Paige.
ago.
He got Paige as a consolation prize.
Yeah, they had rap battles with the Usos, and yeah, they definitely overcame that. Oh, floundering, don't know what we're gonna do next. Are we gonna get fired? Definitely made a name for themselves, and they're probably lifers now. The New Day.
Yeah, I mean, the only good storyline that Kofi ever had before that was stupid Kofi,
Yeah.
stupid with Randy
Yeah,
Orton.
when they decided to push him against Randy Orton for the title, yeah.
That was the only time. Like,
He poured paint on Randy Orton's race car.
oh yeah, he did. Oh, Randy, this yo car. And then I think that was the only time where you're like, weren't you Jamaican? Where's your accent? But my number 4, it depends. Like, okay, like, he was already a made man now and became heel as the final boss, which didn't really save his career. So I'm not going with that version, but I am going with the version die Rocky die. No one wanted Rocky Maivia in wrestling. They wanted him to off is the direction in which you can fuck Rock. They want him gone.
Yeah.
The Rock turned heel with the Nation of Domination, started
Mhm.
talking trash, like, you wanted me to die, Rocky, die, and just going in on the crowd. He got great heat. And then when he turned on Farouk and led the Nation of Domination, it excelled him more. all of a sudden he starts getting an IC title, and it like meant more, than like Rocky Maivia coming out with his long, curly hair. And, I think that if Rock didn't turn heel there, if he would have stayed his course with Rocky Maivia, the entire landscape of wrestling changes, because I don't think The Rock ever does anything special. That really opened him up to tap into himself and what he was really capable of doing on the mic, and that excelled his career. So
The Rock is a lot of things, but sucks isn't one of them. All right, my number 4. I'm going to have to go with Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
Great pick.
So he's brought in by his daddy, and they admittedly form a tag team. His first WrestleMania match against Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
Yeah, and granted it was WrestleMania with an empty arena, but still, Seth Rollins is your first WrestleMania opponent. That's good to have on your list. Yeah, he was just tagging with his dad, straight baby face, and then he gets pushed aside so his dad could team with Edge against the Judgment Day, and that's where Dominic turns on his dad and turns heel and joins the Judgment Day. And do have to say, the hottest heel in the business right now, Dominic Mysterio, because he cannot get a word out for any promo without just being booed out the building. Not to mention, every guy wants to be him right now because he gets to do all this stuff with Liv Morgan.
And Rhea Ripley is his mommy, and he's got a wife at home. Like, he's just all over the place.
Yeah. Going with Dom Mysterio.
Well, first of all, his dad is a deadbeat dad that left him to the wayside, and he had to spend a whole 3 days in jail. But, Dirty Dom is a great pick. Because you bring him into like, we want to have him win a tag team title with his dad, and then they do it, and it's like, now what? Like, we did what we wanted to do. Number 5 for me, I'm gonna round up my 5 here. The Honky Tonk Man. Okay. Because Vince brings him in as like this Elvis impersonator, and he thinks that the crowd's gonna love him because everyone loves Elvis. No one liked Honky Tonk Man. And it's like, well, what do you do with him? He just fell down the card, and you're like, this is just a gimmick that's gonna go away. Until he hits Jake the Snake Roberts with a guitar over the head and excelled him in this heel turn because everyone hated him. They loved Jake the Snake at that time. Yeah. And all of a sudden he starts climbing the ranks in the matches, and he gets an IC title match. He wins it in a cowardly way, but that makes him the longest reigning IC champion until Gunther. I think that just that guitar smash over Jake Roberts to make you the longest reigning IC champion after that, like, he got a lot of heat because then people love to hate the Elvis impersonator. So I got to go Honky Tonk Man.
Okay. All right, to round out my list, I'm going to have to go with Bayley. So, you know her in NXT, and her first run on the main roster is the Hugger. Has a side ponytail, colorful clothing, the inflatable arm inflating tube men that you see from like car dealerships.
Yeah,
just a very, very family friendly character. Hugging all the little kids walking to the ring and stuff. Very, very nice, happy music.
Yeah.
And it gets stale real fast on the main roster. And, you don't know what's going to happen because she just loses the world championship to Charlotte. And how do you remain happy with that when you lost the title? oh, you're supposed to remain happy? I don't think so. So what she does is tear down her arm flailing tube man with a pickaxe and cuts her hair and turns heel, and just a total gimmick change. Like personalities different, not friendly anymore, booing the crowd, and totally different. Wins the title doing dastardly means. Starts some damage control after an injury, and now probably one of the hottest women in the company right now. Your current women's champion Bailey.
Yeah, she was the hugger Bailey. And if anyone
Yeah.
saw SmackDown, I believe she's going to be known now as the BBL Bailey, from what Nia Jax said. Which, is that an insult, really? And second of all, that didn't hit as hard as you thought it did, Nia. But all right, whatever. But yeah, so that's our top 5 wrestlers saved by turning heel. If you have any that you want to drop in the comments, we'd love to hear them. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop content all the time just for you. And right above me, here's that QR code. Make sure you support the WWE shop and us. We appreciate everything you guys do. We're over 2,000 subscribers now, so it's going to keep getting higher from here, and we're going to keep bringing you the best content. So until next week.